Why does everyone seem so freaking burned out? It's not just work stress, it's everything. Groceries cost more, rent is sky high, job security is a joke, the world is a hot mess, and somehow we're all supposed to hustle harder just to keep up. Life isn't just busy, it's freaking relentless. I'm so burnt out. You're so burnt out. We're all so burnt out. But what does that even mean? Burnout feels like the most overused phrase of the decade. It's everywhere and everyone thinks that they've got it. Your coworker says it, your favorite influencer says it, you probably say it. I know I say it. We throw the word around like it explains everything, but let's be honest. Most of us don't really know what it means, let alone what to do about it. Well, you could slow down a little bit. That's adorable, but not exactly an option for most of us. Bills need to be paid, responsibilities don't pause, and life just keeps on coming at you hard. So instead of just pretending I can hit the brakes, I decided to dig into what burnout really is, how to recognize it, and what steps I can take to at least keep myself from ending up in the hospital. Because let's face it, if we're all going to keep pushing, we've got to do something without completely wrecking our bodies. There is one thing about burnout that no one's really talking about, and it could change how you handle everything, so just hold that thought, okay? Now, burnout isn't just a bad day. It's not just being tired. It is so much deeper than that. Now, technically speaking, burnout is defined as work-related stress that's gone unmanaged. But let's be real, it doesn't stop at your job. Life is work. Divorce, job hunting, learning something new, therapy, working on yourself. And let's not forget the endless mental load of managing your finances, navigating relationships, and replying to that group chat that somehow has 127 unread messages. If it demands your energy, your time, or your sanity, it's work. And just because you're not clocking in, it doesn't make it any less exhausting. Trust me, I get it. For those of you who don't know me, I was laid off in January 2024, and since then, I've been juggling gig work, job hunting, and running a YouTube channel, putting in 12 to 15-hour days, 7 days a week. It's breathing down my neck every single day. I can definitely feel it. And you know what? Based on some of your comments, you're feeling it too, and that's what makes this video so relevant. I want to understand burnout before it grabs me by the throat. You know, if I can catch it now, maybe I can stop it before it completely takes over. I want you to be able to recognize it and stop it too. What really freaks me out is how close burnout feels to the depression that I've dealt with before. Later, I'll lay out the difference between depression and burnout, so just put a pin on that, okay? Now, I'll be real with you. At this point, I honestly don't know what the heck I'm going to do, right? I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to rebuild a whole life. I'm trying to regain some kind of financial control so that I can have a future with my husband. I'm truly, truly scared of what I'm doing to myself working the way that I am. I'm not a youngin' anymore. Well, at least not mathematically. And the truth? There aren't a lot of options for people my age. Everywhere I look, it feels like the world is shouting at me to hustle harder or embrace the gig economy. So here I am. I'm hustling. I'm embracing. Gig work feels like my only option right now, but it's relentless. Every day I ask myself, what am I doing? Where could I be better? What am I missing? And let me tell you, those questions, they don't lead to answers. They lead to a spiral. When you've been running on empty for so long, your body and brain finally says, enough. And that's it. That's burnout. It's a complete physical, emotional, and mental collapse. Burnout actually hurts your brain. You can't focus. You can't make decisions. Even simple tasks like putting away the laundry feel impossible. It's not just overwhelm. It's a shutdown. Suddenly, even the thought of taking it easy feels exhausting because doing nothing somehow takes as much effort as doing everything. You stop caring about work, about people, about everything. Burnout doesn't just drain your energy, it hijacks your ability to give a damn. Burnout doesn't just stay in your head, however. Oh no, it moves into your gut, your muscles, your entire system. Chronic headaches, stomach issues, random aches and pains. Your body's letting you know. But instead of listening, we push through because that's what we've been taught to do. Here's the thing. Burnout is wrecking your health. High blood pressure, heart problems, immune system crashing, and mental health spiraling into full-on depression. It's not just stress. It's a full body betrayal. Now, this isn't just some abstract concept. This has got real physical consequences. And the longer you try to push through it, the more damage it does. Damage that just doesn't disappear when you finally decide to take a weekend off. Burnout isn't your fault, though. I want you to understand that. It's not a personal failing. It's not a weakness. You didn't mess up. It's the result of living in a system that says rest is for quitters, and we buy into it. We've been taught to push harder, do more, and wear exhaustion like it's a badge of honor. But burnout isn't a personality trait. It's a warning sign that something has to change. So, how do you know if it's happening to you? How do you catch something that sneaks up on you like a ninja in sweatpants? Burnout doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in little by little by little, and it's not loud and it's not super obvious. It's more of a slow burn, okay? At first, it feels just like regular stress. You're tired, sure, maybe you're just a little snappier than usual, but you chalk it up to a busy week. You're going to just push through. You'll be okay. A couple of early nights to bed are going to fix that. But the thing about burnout is it doesn't just show up as one big moment. It's a bunch of little things that stack up until you're absolutely buried. Maybe you can't focus on anything, or worse, things that used to matter like hobbies or friendships feel distant and like they belong to somebody else's life. You might have nagging headaches that just don't go away, a knot in your stomach that's become a constant, or random aches and pains that make no sense. Then there's the avoidance, right? You put off simple tasks like answering emails or even just cleaning up because somehow even the smallest things feel impossible. You heavy sigh every time your phone buzzes. You look at the dishes piling up in the sink and think, I can't deal with this right now. Come to think of it, I do have a pile of earrings that are sitting on the counter in the bathroom. I mean, it would take me 30 seconds to just put the earrings away and hang them back up, but I just can't seem to do it. It's like they mock me. It feels like I have a finite amount of energy and I just don't want to waste it on stuff like that. I don't know. I just can't find the energy to do it. Well, recognizing the signs is one thing, but seeing them in your own life, that's a whole different kind of wake-up call. And honestly, I'm a little bit scared. My body is throwing up red flags left and right. There are days when just getting out of bed feels like I'm running a marathon, and my brain is constantly at war with itself. It never stops. I'm always thinking of my to-do list, content ideas, situations that will never happen, money. It goes on and on and on. And let's be real. At this point, it feels like my body is this daily roulette wheel of menopause, anxiety, or burnout. Spin that wheel. What are we going to do today? There have been so many times that my husband asks me a question. I just kind of stare at him. Frozen. My brain is spinning, trying to find an answer. And all I can say is, can you just do the thing? I can't right now. I don't know why, but I just can't. I've got these permanent pimples on my chin that no skincare routine seems to fix. One goes away and another takes its place. I am bone tired all of the time and my body aches for no reason. I'm getting headaches. I'm constantly fighting my fussy feelings. I've stopped doing the things that I love to do. I keep trying to do it all, but I can't. So that makes me basically feel like a failure every day and like I'm letting everyone down. It's not a good nor healthy way to live. Sometimes my body feels ice cold and I start shivering uncontrollably. I can't get warm no matter what. So I'll crawl into bed with a heating pad or I'll jump into a hot shower. It's absolutely awful. Well, it turns out that this could be my body's way of waving a massive red flag that burnout is happening. Stress-induced circulation changes can restrict blood flow to my extremities, leaving me freezing. Chronic stress also might mess with my adrenal glands, throwing off temperature regulation. I have had so much blood work done, I'm shocked that there's any left in my body. And every result says the same thing. I'm fine. But you know what? I don't feel fine at all. I feel like I'm standing on like this layer of thin ice and I'm hearing it crack beneath my feet. And I know that I've got to move, but I'm also standing there thinking, wonder how long this will hold. And that's scary. That's scary, right? I know that I have to act. I know that it's going to get worse, but I still feel like I want to wait it out, like I'm stuck. At one point, I did wonder if this was my depression coming back. It turns out that burnout and depression look very similar, but there is a key difference, okay? They both leave you drained, detached, and struggling to care about anything. Yeah. But there is one easy way that you can tell what's what. You need to ask yourself, does rest help? Okay. Burnout is a result of external stresses, things piling up on you. If you step away, whether it's taking a day off, saying no to more shit on your plate, or setting some solid boundaries, you'll start to feel better. You get a little bit of relief, a little bit of breathing room. Depression, on the other hand, rest won't touch it. It's internal. You can sleep for 12 hours, meditate, quit your job, and treat yourself to a spa day and still feel like you're in pain and stuck in a fog. Depression lives inside you. It doesn't depend on external circumstances. So I'm checking in with myself daily, right? I know that if I take the time to rest, I feel better, like my mood shifts substantially. I'm not 100%, not even close. I mean, I still feel like crap, but I do feel better. I don't have that pain I felt when I went through my bouts of depression. I don't feel that heavy, hopeless pain in my chest, right? But here's the dangerous part. If you let burnout simmer long enough, it can turn into depression. Burnout might start as a reaction to your life, to external things, but if you keep ignoring it, it settles in and rewires your brain, which of course will make recovering from it much more difficult. So please, my friends, please take care of yourself. I wouldn't wish depression on anyone. So please, just take care. All right, the Burnout Confessional is now open. What is one thing that you've said yes to this week that you really should have said no to? I'll bet you're not alone. Drop it in the comments. Burnout recovery isn't about a quick recharge, okay? It's about rebuilding from the ground up. You got to rebuild your energy, your focus, your mental health. Everything takes time to repair. And the deeper the hole you've dug yourself, the harder it is to climb out. That's why catching burnout early is essential. Think of it like a bad roommate. At first, they just leave dishes in the sink, but before you know it, they've taken over your life, eaten all your food, stolen your credit card, slept with your boyfriend, and somehow turned your dog against you. And the worst part, they won't leave, and somehow they've convinced you that this is all your fault. Your body will try to warn you. A little nudge here. Hey, maybe you should slow down. A little shove there. Yo, I freaking said stop. Before you know it, it's flipping over tables like it's in a bar fight, waving its arms and screaming, we're done. We're done here. But what do we do instead? We convince ourselves that it's fine. Everything's fine. That this is normal. That everyone feels this way. That being exhausted is just a part of being an adult. Newsflash, if everyone's drowning, that doesn't mean it's fine. It means we're all in trouble. So now that you know how burnout sneaks up and hijacks your life, what can you actually do about it? Because let me tell you, ignoring it is not a solid strategy. If slowing down isn't an option, and let's be real, for most of us it's not, what can you actually do to stop burnout from completely taking over? First, this is the hardest one, and that's why I'm laughing, because first you have to admit that it's happening. I know that sounds like a really simple thing, but honestly, it probably is the hardest part. Because burnout loves denial, right? It thrives on you convincing yourself that you're just tired, or this is just a phase. This is something you can fix if you go to bed early. But here's the truth. If you're snapping at everyone, crying in your car, and feeling like your soul is held together by duct tape, it's not a phase, right? So the first step is calling it what it is. Say it out loud if you have to. I'm burnt out, or I'm burning out, because pretending it's not happening won't make it go away. So, guess I'm going to do that right now. As I'm talking, the more and more I'm talking about this, the more and more I'm realizing that, okay, I'm burning out. I think I'm constantly teetering on the edge. So recently I made the decision to cut back on a few things. So the first thing that I cut back on is my rideshare work. I just cannot do it anymore. Something has to give. I was doing 6 to 7 days a week, but I just can't keep up. I just can't. It's a weird feeling. I'm relieved to have made the decision, but I'm absolutely terrified to implement it because, bills are still staring me down. I realize that if I keep going like this, I'm not going to have anything left for myself or anyone else, but it's still hard to do. Another decision that I made was that I could not continue to answer every comment here anymore. Well, at least is not as quick as I have been answering them. That decision was even harder than cutting back on rideshare because I love doing this and I love interacting with all of you. I am still going to do my best to answer everything, but something had to give. I'm spending around 4 hours a day answering comments. And while the ultimate goal is to answer every single one, I may be slower now. But please know that this doesn't mean I love you any less. Okay? I also want to empower you. If you feel called to, step up and reach out to others in the community. There's power in connecting and supporting one another, and your voice could be the one that helps someone else push through. I would love to see that. I would love it. So there it is. Those are my two things. They feel absolutely huge to me, but I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna see if that helps. If you're like me, kind of teetering on that edge of burnout, it's even more crucial to set boundaries now. Why wait until you're drowning, gasping for air, when you can grab the life raft before the waves pull you under? So, what else can you actually do once you admit that burnout is happening? You've got to get ruthless about what stays on your plate. This is not the time to be a hero. Burnout isn't just about how much you're doing, it's about how much of yourself you're giving away. When you don't set firm boundaries, it creeps in and it takes what it wants: your time, your energy, your patience, your peace of mind. The only way to stop it: draw the line and actually hold it. Cancel the plans, say no to the extra projects, skip the meeting. Every time you say no to something that's draining you, you're saying yes to yourself. And right now, that's not just cheesy, it's survival. It's not about doing one thing to fix it. It's about figuring out where the stress is coming from and chipping away at it piece by piece. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just small, real changes that actually make a difference. And let's talk about rest. I'm not telling you to go drop $500 on a spa day or book a week in the Bahamas, unless you can afford that, in which case, take me. Rest is about giving yourself permission to stop, even if it's for 5 minutes. Take a walk, stare out the window, lock yourself in the bathroom and sit on the floor in the cool quiet if that's what it takes. But here's the kicker. Rest doesn't work if you're carrying guilt about it. You've got to see rest for what it is: productive, healthy, and essential. It's what keeps the wheels from falling off completely. And while you're at it, start paying attention to what your body's trying to tell you. It's practically screaming at you, and you've trained yourself over years to just ignore it. That headache, not normal. That random back pain, also not normal. Tummy troubles? You get the idea. Start checking in with yourself every day. How am I really feeling? Okay, what hurts? What do I need? And then here's the wild part. You actually have to do something about it. It's crazy, but it just might work. I picked my 2 things that I'm going to do to help alleviate my burnout, and now I've got to follow through. Burnout isn't just something that you solve overnight. It's definitely not something you can power through, but it absolutely is something that you can fix. It is something that you can take control over. It's about saying no to the world long enough to say yes to yourself. Start small. Say no to one thing. Take one breath. Burnout doesn't have to take you down. Remember, burnout doesn't mean that we're weak, and it doesn't mean that we failed. It's a signal, not a sentence. We are allowed to rest, rebuild, and take care of ourselves even when the world is telling us otherwise. Burnout doesn't just wreck your energy, it blurs the lines between what's yours and what everyone else demands from you. And let's be real, if you're not drawing those lines, someone else is, and they're probably stomping all over them. Learning to say enough isn't just about recovery, it's about reclaiming what's yours. Because here's the truth, burnout isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it's the wake-up call that shows you exactly where your boundaries need to be. If you're wondering how to finally say enough and mean it, stick with me. I've got plenty to say about where to start and how to actually keep those boundaries, and you can watch it right here.